Chick. I'm coming to you live from the Shoe Chick Art Studio. The name of my studio is the Shoe Chick Art Studio because when you paint with me, kids in Africa get shoes. So today, whoops, I got the wrong thing showing. Usually I have the finished picture showing, so let me flip that around like that. This is what we're painting today, the Ballerina. One of my absolute favorites because it's so simple and it's so elegant and it's going to be so fun. Okay, so first, I'm going to go over your tools. You should have your paint kits with the tops all taken off, your mixing tray right here, right? And you have an assortment of brushes for this one. You might have a sponge brush or that other kind of brown brush with the bristles, but you have a big brush, a medium-sized brush, flat tip brush. Then you have a little detailed brush. You're probably not going to need that, but I just like to include all the brushes you need. And you got some Q-tips that are going to be really fun for all this little polka dot action, the little fluffy action we have going on in our tutu. And what else do we have? We have a water cup. Please make sure you fill your water cup about halfway with water. Don't forget your wine. My absolute favorite thing to do is to drink wine and paint. So make sure you have your wine ready or whatever it is you're drinking. And you have a blue paper, highly absorbent blue paper towel. There's also an apron in your pack. Make sure you open it, fully open your apron, put it over your head. And if you're not quite sure how to set up that easel back, the easel is attached already to your canvas. And what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze the sides. You're going to push that flat down like that. And this easel is going to stand right up on your table. Isn't that awesome? I think it's awesome. So you really have everything you need in this kit, okay? Let's get into the painting. So, some of my paintings, some of the kits, they're pre-traced and sometimes they're not. This one is pre-traced. I tried it not pre-traced and it wasn't a good thing. So, so I decided to pre-trace this one. I hope you're not too terribly disappointed that it is pre-traced. I always tell people, if you don't like it traced, just wipe the whole thing out and just start all over from scratch for yourself, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put a light coat of water on the canvas, okay? We're going to take the biggest brush, either you have this sponge brush or you have a different type brush, and we're going to go right into the water, and we're going to put a light coat of water on our canvas. Now, you don't have to be afraid that you're going to wash off these trace lines because this is actually done with magic marker, this one. Sometimes I use a different thing, but this time the silhouettes do better if I do magic marker. So the reason why we are putting a light coat of water is because we have to activate the canvas or prime the canvas so it's ready to accept paint. Like a lot of these canvases are like super brittle, especially due to the heat and stuff like that and the way that they're stored. So you're going to put a little bit of water. Not too much. You don't want it totally dripping wet. And if you get it too dripping wet, we're just going to tap it a little bit, dry it off a little bit with our paper towel. We even did the sides. That's called wrapping your, because we're going to paint the sides. That's called wrapping your painting so that when you're all done, you hang your masterpiece up, you don't even need a frame. So paint today with acrylic paints. They wash very easily off your skin. Not so easily off your clothes. If you get it right away, you can get it out of your clothes, but really good, easy off your skin. That bag that your kit came in is really good for using on the tabletop to protect the surface from paint, okay? All right, let's get into it, y'all. Okay, so I'm taking that big brush, that sponge brush. Hopefully you didn't rest it in your water. If you rest it in your water, just squeeze it out a little bit or wipe it off with your paper towel. I'm going right into my blue paint. Now, the most critical part to this painting, I would say, is getting this glow effect down right. And it's going to take a little while, to be quite honest with you. Sometimes people watch my videos all the way through, then they go back and do the painting. So they can see how it is. Like I try to go at a good pace, but my objective is to take you about 90% through the painting, then I disappear. Then you do it all on your own, and you send me your paintings because I want to see, like, that is one of the greatest, best parts for me is seeing the masterpieces that you created, okay? So I have a little bit of that blue paint on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a circle to kind of protect the white area. So I'm looking at my reference photo. You got a reference photo. I'm actually looking at the painting itself. And
I am going to take a look at where that white glow is. And that white glow is right like ends by her waist. So I'm going to go underneath her waist a little bit. And it kind of starts at the tip of her head. So I don't have to be that precise, right? Because I always say that my paintings, my art classes are like Paint Party 101. Like, I'm not trying to teach you perspective drawing. I'm not trying to teach you technique and stuff like that. It's about having a good time. So don't worry about like creating the painting exactly the same. Like, make it your own. If you want to make her fatter, skinnier, if you want to change her tutu, her hairdo, please do. This is yours. This is your painting. This is your masterpiece. Make it yours. Okay, so I just did a circle around there, and that's going to represent the glow that's right there in the center, okay? So I want to protect that area a little bit by keeping it white. So I have that blue on my paintbrush, right? So if you look at the corners of the painting, like I'm in the corners, they're a little darker. So I'm going to use what paint I have on my paintbrush, and I'm going to paint my corners just a little darker right here, okay? Now, if you look at the painting, the glow is like a circle motion. So I'm just going to I just have a little bit of paint on my paintbrush. I didn't even go back into my paint. And I'm going to create like a circle. And then through a series of brush strokes, curved brush strokes, with this sponge brush, or whatever brush that you're using, because I'm just going to keep creating curved brush strokes. So I'm out of paint. I'm going to go back into my blue paint right now. Putting a little bit. Every time I start off, I'm going to start off in the corners because I want to get all of it off my paint. I want the darkest points to be in the corners. Now remember that part that we were protecting? I don't want it to look stripy, so I'm going to go over that. And see, we still have a little bit of water on our paintbrush from when we primed it a little bit, so it's giving it like a lighter effect here, so it doesn't look so stripy. I'm also going to paint the sides. I'm going to put a little bit, that looks like a mess, right? But it's all going to come together, I'm telling you. So that blue needs to extend quite a ways down. So I'm doing curved brush strokes all the way down. Kind of like a big U. Maybe that'll help you. All the way down to the bottom, So I did some curved brush strokes here. Then I took it all the way to the bottom. Looks like a hot mess, doesn't it? It's all going to come together. I'm also going to paint the sides. I went back into my blue paint, and I'm going to paint the sides. Now, this is going to take you a while. This is probably the most challenging part of the painting, is getting your glow to look right. So I did big U's all the way down here, big wide U's, right? Don't worry about taking it all the way to the bottom because we got black we're going to paint over there, right? When you dip into your blue paint, I want the corners to be the darkest. Then I'm doing curved brush strokes. Looks like a hot mess, I know. Then what I'm going to do, through a combination of water, and a little bit of white paint towards the end, we're going to soften this all up. Now, I don't want it to look like this. This is all stripy. I don't want it to look stripy. I want to blend it. So ladies, like when you're doing your eyeshadow or your makeup, you know how you blend a little bit? We're going to blend with the brush and a little bit of water. So first, not going to use the white paint. I'm just going to take a little bit of water and I'm going to blend. I'm going to connect those white spaces and blend the paint with a little bit of water on my paintbrush, okay? Using curved brush strokes. It's going to take a while. So I want you to spend the time blending. I'm going to play a little bit of jazz music, and then we're going to go into our white paint and really bring out the glow effect, okay? So let me find some nondescript music so my video doesn't get pulled down. So this is totally random. It's a little jazzy stuff. If I can get it to play here. Okay. I'm in my white paint, I'm in my water, and I'm blending all the blue out. Protecting that white space. It's okay if you get a little blue in it. down here. Big wide U. So there's some contrast where the canvas is white, and the water is going to make it a little bit lighter blue as we blend it, blend it, blend it. Gonna add a little bit of water. My brush is getting a little dry. Get that white spot right there. Blending, blending, blending. With the water, if it's getting drippy, take your your blue paper towel, wipe it a little bit. All right, I'm cool with that. I got a little drippies going on, so I'm just going to use my sponge brush or whatever brush you're using, and I'm going to even it out. See, it doesn't look so stripy anymore, right? I don't want it drippy. If it is drippy, you want it to dry a little bit before I start adding a little bit of the white paint. So I'm taking my mixing tray. In the art world, sometimes we pull out the blow dryer when we want to make it dry up a little bit faster. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of white paint and I'm going to put in my tray. I'm going to use the back of my sponge brush and lift a little bit of white paint and put it in my tray here. Then I'm going to wipe the back of my paintbrush off with my paper towel so I don't get too messy. I get messy when I paint. That's part of the fun, right? So I got a little bit of white in my tray. I'm going to take my sponge brush. I'm going to go right into that white paint. I'm not rinsing it off or anything. And now I'm going to add some more brush strokes of white to really bring out the glow effect. And I guess it's kind of like, I want to say it's the moonlight, but we're just going to stick with the glow effect. Okay? So when you start adding the white paint, you'll see the effect that it creates. And I'm just using the white paint right out of my tray. I'm using the tip to create those lines so I can see some lines while I'm blending. And then I'm going to go into the middle a little bit because I really want to blend a little bit more. As that dries, we can really put some more white in there. So isn't it exciting once you see it coming together? Woo, I see it coming together. Y'all might not see it coming together, but it is coming together, okay? So I need a little bit more white paint. I'm going to take the back of my brush, put it in there. My hands are going to get all dirty. I don't mind. Okay, so once you get that blended how you want it, I'm going to go in just a little bit more here, blending that a little bit more. Now I'm going to work on the bottom of my painting. It looks like a silhouette of the grass or the ground, about right above where her diamond shaped feet are. We're going to take the black right above that. So I'm not even going to wash off my paintbrush. I am going to go into my black paint with the tip of my sponge brush, and I'm going to mark a line right above her feet there. You got to be careful with the black because it's very powerful. And I'm going to actually paint this in black. And I'm going to try to use the tip of that sponge brush going right around her feet, because her feet are also going to be black. But because we have a little bit of blue on this paintbrush, it's not going to be as dark as when we paint her feet in. See how it's actually, I have a little bit of blue, I have a little bit of white that I was using, so it's not going to be quite as dark. So it just takes a little tiny bit of black paint. Black goes a long way. Very, very strong color, okay? So I'm using the tip of my paintbrush to get around the little diamond feet there so that when I paint them in, I can still see them pretty good. And because we're using the paintbrush, because we're using this sponge brush and it has a little bit of water on it, a little bit of white, it's not so dark down there. So you're still going to be able to see the feet when we paint them in. I'm also going to paint the sides here, a little black, again, so when you hang it up, you don't need a frame for it. Okay? I'm going to wait for you to catch up a little bit. Not sure where you're at. So I'm going to drink a little bit of my wine, play a little bit, give you a couple of minutes if you're painting with me. If you want that to be really straight, then you can use your artist eye and make that really straight. Mine's not really straight. If that bothers you, make it straight. But it doesn't have to be straight. Really trying to get that diamond shape in her feet, right? Alright, hope you can see that okay. I'm always constantly adjusting my stuff in my head. Alright, where you at? I'm looking at the corners right now. I want my corners to be a little darker, so I'm not even washing off my sponge brush. I'm going right. Still got a little black on my brush, a little blue on my brush. So I want the corners to be a little darker, so I'm just going in on the corners a little bit. I don't want any white in the corners. Still haven't washed off this paintbrush. See how, because of that black on there, how it's getting a little darker? I like that. Want it too dark? I'm going to put a little bit of white. That's what I'm saying. It takes a little bit. You got to play around with this a little bit. Remember, you don't want it to look stripy. How do you not make it look stripy? You blend it. How do you blend it? With a little bit of water and a little bit of white paint. That's how you blend it. I'm just putting a little bit of white paint on this because, yeah. Alright? I'm going to put a little bit more water on mine because I don't like how it's not really blended the way I want it. So I'm not trying to even create the painting exactly the same. It's too hard to do that. That would stress me out. Alright? Make it yours. I'm adding a little bit more white, dragging it through here a little bit. Alright. So I got a little bit of gray going on in my painting, and I'm okay with that. That's because I just dragged a little bit more than I anticipated through there, and that's okay. I'm going to add some more white. Then I'm really going to start working around this glow right here. I'm going to put this sponge brush down. I'm going to get this brush right here, the medium flat brush. I'm going to go into my white paint. And what I'm going to do now is I'm really going to focus on this glow. Making it a little bit more uniform, like a circle shape. I just went right into my white paint. I didn't even put any water on it. See how I'm cleaning up? Cleaning up the glow a little bit. You can drag a little blue in the center of it if you like. That's perfectly okay. But this gives me a better control to soften up the white. Now, don't lose your head in there. You'll be able to follow those lines pretty good, I'm sure. I'm just going to go on the outside. I'm going to add a few white brush strokes here and there. Just a little tiny bit of white on my paintbrush. And then you can really add a little definition to the glow effect by just putting a little bit of white paint here and there. A few brush strokes, a few curved brush strokes. Again, play around with it. Takes a while. I mean, I'm going a little fast. Put me on pause till everybody catches up. If it looks stripy, you're going to add a little bit of water, a little bit of white paint. Okay? All right, here comes the fun part. I'm cool with my glue now. I'm pretty much done with my glue. I don't know what I do with my paper towel here. What do I do with my paper towel? Oh, here it is. When you change colors, you're going to squish your brush around in the water, like this. Tap it out. Wipe it on your paper towel. Still using that medium brush, okay? That flat tip brush. Now I'm going to do her body. I'm going to, this little cord's getting on my nerves here. Okay. I'm going to go into my black paint. And now I'm going to do the silhouette of the ballerina. I'm going to start down here because I want this part to dry a little bit. Acrylic paints, they dry very quickly, as you probably noticed when we fanned a little bit. I'm going to start with her legs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tip of my paintbrush and I'm just going to go right over those legs, right over those lines, just like we have them. I'm going to make them a little bit thicker, not too thick because ballerinas are usually pretty darn skinny, but make it your own. If you want her to be a little bit thicker, make it a little bit thicker. If you want her legs to be curvier, make them curvier. I am just going to thicken up her legs just a little tiny bit because I don't want her to look totally like a stick person. Actually, in the reference photo, her legs are pretty close together. And then they're kind of defined with the white. So I'm just following those trace lines. I'm making her just a little bit thicker, not too much. And then when I do her diamond feet, you might not want to make them so pointy. If she's a ballerina, you might want to keep them pointy or longer or change the shape of them just a little bit. I'm doing the other leg as well. Kind of doing a diamond shape. Kind of keeping it a little pointy because you want to, it's kind of giving the impression that she's on her tippy toes. Right? Okay, now I'm going to do her, it should be a little drier towards the middle, but I'm still going to wait for her to do her head. So I'm just going to, again, go over the lines of her arms. The arms are really skinny at the top, and then they kind of build up a little bit. So you do want to make sure they are kind of thin at the top. Using the very tip of your brush. And then you're just going to paint her in, kind of like coloring, but just with a paintbrush, right? Thin arms, thicker as they get towards your torso. And then I'm going to do her face and play a little jazzy music while I'm doing that. Fun watching it come to life.
just follow the line. You're not going to paint the tutu black, right? You're not going to do that outline. We want that line to be soft around her tutu. Then I'm just going to do her head. And if you notice, I didn't do her hair for you because that's going to be the fun part with the Q-tips that I gave you. But to save us a little time, I'm still working with my black paint. I'm still working with the medium paintbrush. I'm going to draw a little circle up here for her hair. And of course, you can change her hair any way you want. But I'm drawing a circle, kind of freehanding it there. Alright? See her coming to life? I'm going to wash my paintbrush out. And then I'm going to go into my purple paint. And I'm going to do little dabs of purple, of dark purple, all around her tutu because I don't want to see that line. So right on top of that line, I need you to put dark purple. Then I want you to go inside of it. And I'm using the flat of my paintbrush and I'm just tapping down a little bit, okay? I'm also going to cover this line to make it a little bit cleaner where her torso meets the tutu. Now, you can use this paintbrush and fill this whole area up with dots. First, we're going to use the dark purple, and then just look at the tutu and all the different colors in there, right? I'm not even going to wash out my paintbrush. I'm going to fan it a little bit to dry. And I'm just going to go right into my pink. And then I'm going to put dots of pink on top. And then I'm going to fan that for that to dry. And I'm just going to keep adding the different colors and filling. Now you can use this, or I put these Q-tips in there, just so you can have a little fun and see the effect of using the Q-tip. So I'm going to go in black first and kind of mess around with her hair. Right on the edges of that little bun that I made, I'm just going to tap my Q-tip right down along the edges and give her little bun there a little bit of texture. Isn't that fun? I think it's fun. So if you don't like it, just wait for it to dry and then go over it with white paint and start over. That's how you erase. Wait for it to dry, go over it in white paint and start over. So I want her little afro puff to be a little bit bigger. Okay, so I am going to show you if you go into, let's see, I'm going to go in the purple with the other end of it. This could get really messy with this. And just see the effect that you get using the Q-tip. I think it's really, really fun. So guess what? I've taken you about 90% through the painting. So I'm going to leave you alone to finish it. I'm going to work just a little bit more because I'm having so much fun and just have you watch me. So you're going to fill up the tutu, right, with all different colors. You're going to let them dry as you apply them. And then at the very, very end, you're going to look at your painting and you're going to apply all those fun little white highlights. So there's little twinkle dots in the back. How do we do that? You can use your Q-tip, or you can use the back of that medium, I dropped my paper towel, sorry. I love doing things live because you never know what might happen. Okay, on the medium paintbrush,
if you stick the back end of it into your white paint, you can get these twinkle effects in the sky. I like doing that. They're just a little bit more uniform than using the tip of this paintbrush. Isn't that fun? Isn't she cute? You can paint this for your niece or your granddaughter. Make sure you sign and date your painting. Make it yours. Somebody's going to be fighting over this one day. Okay? They are, because it's yours. It's your masterpiece. So I'm going to work on filling in my tutu a little bit. At the very, very end, when you're all done, when your tutu is complete, you're going to go into your white paint. You're going to add those little twinkle effects. You're going to add these fun little white brush strokes to her body. But you got to wait for the white paint to dry, the black paint to dry. So at the very end, that's when you're going to put all these fun little accents of white. Just a tiny, 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 tiny bit of white, okay? And you're going to outline her ballerina slippers. Put some little definition in her face, in the flow of her arms, with a very tiny bit of white paint. Now I'm just going to work on a tutu just a little bit more while you're catching up, and then I'm going to sign off, okay? Do a little pink. I'm going to use my brush. I'm not going to use the Q-tip at first. Big finish. That woke me up a little bit. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're drinking your wine. I hope you're being creative. Of course you're being creative. I hope your creative energy is flowing. I hope you're not being too critical of yourself and your painting. It's all in fun, right? Fill this up with all the different fun colors, okay? There's a little white in there. If it starts to look a little muddy, let it dry a little bit in between the colors. Okay? And just have fun with it, ladies and gentlemen. Probably mostly ladies. Okay? This is Angelique. I'm signing off from the Shoe Chick Art Studio in fabulous Las Vegas. The Ballerina. I hope you have fun. I really hope you're being safe during these times. Follow me on YouTube, on Angelique Paints. I'm assuming you're probably there now watching this. Sometimes you're watching me live on Facebook. But make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'd really, really appreciate it. Friend me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram at the Shoe Chick Art Studio. When you paint with me, Kids in Africa Get Shoes. You can visit my website at theshoechickstore.com. I have over 30 images from you to choose from to paint. I ship paint kits all over the country, so check me out. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.